You are now tuned into the sounds of what black men like. Got Malik in the building.
Brooklyn.
Got Willie P in the building. Don't be scared now.
Came up from Alabama.
The number one apex in the world. I know there's something absolutely unique about these guys.
Legendary.
Y'all know this is. This Mr. No Cap, world famous.
Look, nobody from Baltimore can offend me.
You're now tuned into the sounds of what black men like. Welcome back to What Black Men Like, the Black Man's Lifestyle Podcast. This is yours truly, Mr. No Cap. Of course, we got the regular cast of characters in the building. We got Malik in the building, Willie P in the building, got Brittany Burner in the building, and we have a special guest. Her name is Miss Lavondra. She is from Washington, D.C. She's a beauty and lifestyle blogger, photographer, social media manager, mom. She does everything, goddammit. Miss Lavondra, can you come in here and introduce yourself real quick?
My name is Lavondra, aka Typical Black Queen. That is my brand's name. I am a beauty and lifestyle social media influencer and content creator. Yes, I am also a mom, a photographer, a social media manager, an event host. I do it all basically. So we're going to round that up and just say lifestyle.
Expert lifestyle influencer.
More so Vondra's lifestyle, and however you see my life fit in yours and it makes it a positive note, yeah, that's what it is.
How did you get into this life of being an influencer or into this life in general, given that you have so many hats that you juggle?
So I've always been a social person. I've always thrown kickbacks and parties at my house and stuff like that. But I initially got thrown in it through the natural hair community. I was forced to become a naturalista because I was allergic to perms, relaxers. So I broke out in hives and ended up having to cut all my hair off. And I didn't see a lot of people with my hair texture online accurately getting their hair done and accurately having the styles that I want. So I just decided to document it myself. And that was in 2017. And then through the middle of that, I just started showing more of what I do in my everyday life, and it just grew from there. I guess I became such a relatable presence online that the people just love me.
You do. I could tell your energy is very relatable. I could tell you seem like one of my family members. It could be my sister, my girl, my cousin, my aunt, whatever.
A lot of people say that they I'm their best friend in their head, or I'm family. As long as I get invited to the cookout, because I definitely want a cookout plate.
Already. So, Lavondra, since you've been on this natural hair thing, how's the response from men been? Have you noticed any difference in what you're attracting since you got this natural hair going on?
So as for men, a lot of older men compliment my hair more so than younger men. They'll be like, I like that style, sister, keep it natural. Especially when my hair was very long at one point and I would wear it in a high puff. But I definitely got a lot of, I guess, play from older guys.
Sugar daddy vibes.
For some strange reason, you definitely tend to get more of an older crowd complimenting on the natural hair. I did this twist style, and I don't think I've ever had so many compliments in my life, but just about all of them were grown men, and it was nice. I was like, okay, look at y'all noticing things, but a different type of appreciation. So,
Willie P, I have a feeling you lean toward the natural look. Is that correct?
I support a woman that loves herself. That's what attracts me. She can have it permed all day long, or she can wear it as natural can be. As long as she loves herself and she ain't fucking worried about what other people are thinking, yeah, insta-fuck.
Lavondra, as you went through this journey, how has it been getting into social media? Obviously, social media is about how you look, mostly how you look. How have you grown in your personal self, getting comfortable putting yourself out there, knowing that social media is not a game? People got hella shit to say, and a lot of times it ain't nice.
Well, I guess I can say as a dark-skinned woman growing up in the 90s, it was kind of built in me from elementary school. So, I've been talked about, I've been called names. I have older brothers, I have cousins that, that are lighter than me. I'm the darkest one in my household. So that kind of built that tough skin for me. And then I grew up in an era where we joned a lot. Anybody could get it, you know what I mean? So that has a lot to do with my presence, because my confidence, this has been decades in the making. The most you can say about me is what? That I'm not skinny. Okay. And I know somebody that like my fat ass. My content is not based off my looks. I'm not saying I'm ugly. I'm far from it. Like, I know that for a fact. But a lot of my audience not only comes to me because of my looks, but because I'm real.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Real is in scarcity. I think it's a term that gets thrown around a lot, but it's really hard to really nail down what that means. I mean, we can have a quick discussion about what real is. There's a lot of women that have the clown makeup on and they got their hair, but they want a real man in quotation marks. So I know real is not about it's not only about your aesthetic. It's about your character, your morals, your internal makeup. But what is real to you, Lavanja? And I asked that to the panel too. What do you consider real?
Real to me is not an outward thing. It's what is internal. It's what you present out, and then your looks will follow depending on the person that is receiving it. But real for me is I could put on a pound of makeup and still be real. The conversation that we have, if you come and ask me for advice, I'm not going to give you an Instagram quote. We're going to sit there and talk about it. A lot of people's businesses fail because they're not putting their self in the forefront of their business. People like seeing faces. People like seeing your attitude, your energy. And that's the real part of selling anything, because you have to sell yourself. In order to do that, you got to be real. And if you're not real with yourself or real with your community, you're not going to go far. So when it comes to being real, you can have fake hair all you want to. I wear wigs. You know, I do a little push-up bra. I put on makeup. But at the end of the day, when someone sees me or sees me online, they still rock with me because they know Vondra going to be real.
I definitely agree wholeheartedly. Realness is internal. I feel like it also includes transparency and accountability. And I say that because a lot of the times you have people who are not showing you what's behind closed doors. So like Vondra said, she might wear that makeup, but I'm sure she probably has a post where she's showing you what her bare skin looks like as well. You know, the around the clock, not just the 9 a.m., 9 to 5 when I'm ready to go. You giving them I just rolled out of bed at 2 a.m. as well. So all of the above.
Malik, real, what does that mean to you?
This is a great question because I think everybody, some people have different perspectives on it. But I think being real is just being honest with yourself and being comfortable with who you are as a person, being able to communicate that. Just being true to yourself with no apologies. I think that's being real. Like Lavondra said, you know, whether she wears makeup or not, she's still true to herself and she's being honest with herself. So it's like, yeah, I still wear makeup. I may put on a wig or whatever, but I'm still honest with myself and I still feel like I'm a bad bee, whether I have on makeup or not.
Willie P, what you got?
Being real is not the same for everyone. Some people think that being fake is real. Some people think that portraying an image that somebody else taught them is real. I don't agree with that because to me it's not authentic. It's not you. You didn't author that situation. You didn't author that quote. So why are you using it? You are more puppeting somebody, parroting somebody than you are being you. So if you're being real, that means that everything that you're doing is internally driven, not externally, right? It's about what you think about you. That's what it is. Do you have the guts to not only think right about you, do right about you? You also have to have the strength enough to walk the way that you think. It's about having that understanding that, hey, you know, look, this is who I am and this is who I'm going to be. But if you're not strong enough to do that, you're not real at all. You're just a slave to what they think about you.
Hey, I think the key word that you used was author. If you're the author of your own narrative, to me, that makes you real. If someone is writing your narrative, if someone is writing what defines you, then you're not real. You're still a child. If you're still operating off the program that was instilled to you by your parents, you're not real. You're still a child. You start to write your own script. That's what makes you real. I'm not saying that what your parents instilled in you is not correct. I'm saying that you need to challenge it.
Right.
You need to see if it applies to you. That's what being real and being an adult is to me.
I want to add a little bit. I agree with everyone is saying. I just want to say, in addition to that, I think being real is having a high level of integrity without compromising who you are as a person. I think we discussed earlier about natural hair. I'm growing my hair, and I'm saying that to say some of the products that are being sold are sold as if it's for Black people.
You need to cut that shit off. I don't like it. But go ahead.
So anyway,
shout
out to the bus drivers. Let's go.
Let's get into it. It was a big thing online out in the world where there was this whole discussion with Ebony K. Williams and Iyanla Van Zant where they were talking about, would you date a bus driver? And it kind of spiraled out into these other discussions. I think it was really two different separate discussions that were being had at once. But the center of it was Ebony talking about why she wouldn't date a bus driver and then Iyanla challenging her on that. I'm going to start with the women on this. Just your general take on that whole situation, and what do you think came out of it?
So I feel like that I'm sort of biased on the situation because I do work for the transportation company here in DC. So I used to be a bus driver. So I moved up, laterally. So I'm not a bus driver anymore. But let me tell you, aside from my personal feelings about bus drivers, because I'm around them a lot, but when it comes to how they were saying, like, I guess financially, they get paid. Now, it depends on what your lifestyle is like. Child support, which a lot of them got kids, illegitimate and not. They're in debt and things like that. But those are personal. But when it comes to professional, hell yeah, I would date a bus driver.
Hold on. You drove a bus?
I know how to parallel park.
We ain't talking about the ass. We talking about a real yellow.
I mean, we can talk about both. But
that is so interesting that you were actually literally a bus driver.
Yeah,
like,
that is interesting.
I was a bus driver for 6 years, operated a train, and now I just work at a
train too.
Yeah, station.
Yo, Willie, relax.
You gotta relax.
Relax.
Bring some class to the situation, Brittany Burner.
So, like, I wouldn't not date a bus driver. I would entertain whoever God brings in my pathway, right? My thought process when I actually first heard it and what I really thought was, she got money. See, that's why she could say that. She could say that because she got money. I can't support no man, my kids, my animals. I can't. I need a man that can come to the table with the same thing. So, I mean, granted, not that they don't make money, but where my goals are, I need somebody to also be bringing that in. So we looking for 6 figures. I'm looking for 6 figures. Aside from that, I have mad respect for the blue collar industry. Not to mention, I also have mad respect for service members of all kinds in general. Just for the fact, if you were to think and put yourself in those shoes and think about what they do every day, the amount of patience that they have, the fact that they're putting themselves out there, it's a lot of respectable things that come within that person that makes it a why not? Why not see what's going on?
I did respect her response because when she got challenged and there was a lot of blowback and pushback, she kind of stood on it. She was basically saying, like, I wasn't speaking for y'all. Whatever the rest of y'all women want to do with your personal lives, whoever you want to date, that's on you. But I think she kind of played herself in a way because then they started pulling the receipts. And then it went bad.
Receipts don't lie.
Malik, what's your take on all this?
I think she stood her ground, and I respect her for that. I agree with her explanation of why does Black America own the underclass, right? And I've heard another argument saying that why must Black women date men in lower tax brackets than they are? And I agree with that. I think she's entitled to her preference. She's entitled to her own opinion. I think that's fine. But as far as the bus driver comment, I think it was taken out of context and blown way out of proportion. I watched the interview that she had, and it was about an hour-long clip. It was an hour-long interview, and what was shown on social media was just that, I wouldn't date a bus driver. I'll just date the guy that owned the bus. But, I mean, to each his own. I have no qualms with that.
I kind of agree with what Malik is saying, and I kind of see where he's coming from. So as far as the bus driver, why is the bus driver even an issue? I think really what people are thinking about when they hear bus driver or something like that is the appearance of it. What does it look like? It's more of the social appeal that they're looking for than anything. I don't think it really has anything to do about the tax bracket, because if that's the case, what does it look like in reverse? Should a man that's making $120,000 a year date a woman that works at McDonald's or doesn't work at all? No, I think that's bullshit. You've seen plenty of people that have been successful in life. They had more money than the person that they dated. And if you're a strong enough person, then you bring that person up with you. Look at the Obamas. Michelle Obama was the breadwinner at one time. Then she stayed with him and he went to run the country. And people know who she is now because she stayed with a man and she didn't try to discount him because he wasn't making that much money. But if we ask that question in reverse, would you, as a man that's making $120,000 a year, Would you date a woman that's obese and working at McDonald's?
Whoa, you gotta relax.
It's the
No,
truth of the matter. It's the facts
the
of the matter. Okay,
BBWs, man, are changing life.
okay, fair enough. Put something else there. Okay, you can fill in the blank with whatever you want to. Not even the tax bracket thing. I think it's too much on that, and I think we don't do enough justice to people by trying to sugarcoat shit. We don't do enough justice to the people that are being talked about in situations like this by just going along with the subject matter and not offering any rebuttal.
Who do you think's catching up most bullets in this conversation? Like, who's coming out looking the worst? Because
Black men.
yeah, I think initially it was black men, but I think surprisingly there was a lot of people that came to our defense in this situation, including black
That's
women.
I do feel like in that instance, because I mind my business, so I'll be late on a lot of stuff. But when I saw the interview, I feel like a lot of black women who agree with her, we getting the short end of the stick, like we look bad because it's a social economic look. It's some women out here that will date a man who was cheating on her 20 to going north, having babies left and right because he's making money. But the hamburger helper dude who is faithful and down for her because the way it looks, she won't do it. And that's the problem. I think that made us as black women look bad. We look very high strung. And like me, I'm single. It's high girl summer for me. So a dude is flipping, if a dude is flipping burgers, I can see past that. Baby, bring me a Big Mac home. Oh no, let's go
You
to
say
brunch.
that shit till he can't pay for no dates.
Listen, I make $100,000 a year. This is not with my brand, okay? I am a giver.
Let me get that number then.
Not at all.
Yeah, I flip more than
I got into the point. I got into the point where I don't want to do that no more. I want to be babied and pampered. But there are some women out here who don't mind that. I did not mind that. I was engaged for 2 years, and my relationship I was in, we were in it for 10 years. When I met him, he was not working. He wanted to be a barber, an aspiring barber. And, I helped motivate him, giving him smart trip passes to get on the bus and train. And, it was more so teamwork. Now he is one of the top barbers at his shop. And even though we're not together, he always remembers like, okay, you looked out for me.
One of the points in the conversation, the hour-long conversation or discussion was based on potential. Are you dating this man for potential or are you dating him for who he is right now, right? Like if he's making 75, but his goal is to actually become the owner of the bus, not only the bus, but the bus company, right? So I think those two things are a little different.
But that goes back to the real discussion, realistic expectations. What are your dating expectations? And are they realistic for your trajectory? I think the dating expectations are kind of skewed because the masculine feminine is kind of skewed. Even drilling down and speaking about Ebony. So her posture, the energy she presented, I don't know that that's going to attract the type of man that she wants. The type of man that she wants is not trying to come home and deal with a bunch of masculine energy from a woman.
Or somebody with a trashy fucking attitude.
How do we know how she is in a relationship? We don't know her.
No. I'm just talking about the energy and the image she projected through what I saw. Now, I don't know her background. Like I said, I agree with her positionings that she took. But the type of man viewing that she would want to attract, I don't think she's going to attract. When you put stuff out there in the world, it's out there, bro. That goes on a resume.
You saying like her counterpart would want a woman that is more cooperative.
The type of man that she is talking about that she wants is probably does not want her. She wants the dude that owns the bus company.
What kind of woman would he want, though?
They want a woman that's soft, feminine.
Somebody that's more cooperative.
You don't want someone that's trying to compete with you in your house. You want somebody that's collaborative. That's my take on it. I don't know if that's who she's going to attract.
No, she's not going to attract him. Not at all. Put yourself in their position. If you can get any woman that you want, you have the money, you have the status, you have the ability. Would you want somebody that you think is going to fucking argue with you?
I like Ebony. Like, I feel like I like that fact that she was able to hold her position and she was able to explain it. She was able to articulate it and she made valid points. And I would appreciate that in a significant other. I want somebody not to combat with me, but keep me on my toes if I'm off and if she's off and we both are keeping each other sharp.
There's a more creative way to do that. Like,
right, but what we saw based on like that interview. But I understand what y'all are saying. I don't disagree. But I've dated women that were like that, and it was like an intellectually stimulating relationship.
You're not with her no more. You're not with her ass no more.
Right.
It wasn't because of that.
Yeah, sure.
Let's ask the women on the podcast.
I consider myself a very assertive woman, and I've always have been. And I think it's more about preference. because out in this world as a Black woman, you have to be assertive or you'll get walked over or you won't get heard. And I feel like that even though you all are making valid points, that just because out in the world she's assertive and she is speaking and voicing her opinion does not mean she'll do that in her relationship. When men come out in the world, you have to hold a certain presence so you'll get respect. And when you get home, you know, it is what it is. So I can be as assertive as I want to on the outside, but baby, when I come home, it's me and you, and I'm about to submit to you and all that. Everything you want, yeah, Daddy, you got it. But when we go out, why did you bring him cauliflower when he asked for broccoli? Yeah.
No, I don't never speak for me.
What about Brittany Burner?
I mean, I agree. I don't know what that girl does in her personal life, and that's all I can really say on it. I believe that women, and I've said this before, we all embody elements as humans of the masculine and the feminine. And I think there's ways to do and master that, and each person does that in their own particular way. So it's obviously ways to be assertive in the world because you have to.
But the thing is, when women in general are not as assertive as they should be or need to be outside and then day to day, they do get walked up. I've dated a girl that was nowhere near assertive. She was one of those people that she had to talk herself through calling the restaurant back if they got her order wrong. She would just take the food wrong and just eat it or just not even eat. Right?
Right. So, and you got me fucked up. I'm going
It's a real thing.
I spent my hard-earned money.
I had to be DMX all the time. It was exhausting. But yeah, it even like in a room full of men, if there's a woman in a room or like 2-3 women, their voices may not get heard. Like they can be saying all the right things. It's like a bias thing. But anyway.
And don't you, as men, don't you always don't you get kind of tired of saving the damsel in distress? Do you get tired of it?
No, I can't do it.
Put a pin in there. Let me finish
from dating damsels in distress. I don't do it no more. It's a wear and tear on me. It's putting me in jeopardy. I can't do it.
I agree with that.
All right, so being assertive and saving the damsel. Here's my thing, right? In my experience, the women that have captured my attention the most are the ones that are pleasant and feminine. Those are the ones that I have no comeback for, right? So I've met this woman before. I was younger. She was older. And it was this incident. She just put me to fucking shame. And she wasn't doing anything but being fucking pleasant. That's all she was doing. Now, I'm not saying that this works for everybody, but all she was doing is being pleasant. I was mad as fuck. I was like, hey, I'm mad as shit. I'm mad, rah. She's just like, okay, I hear you. What time do you want to eat? And I was like, you don't hear me? I'm mad as fuck. Okay, I got you. But this food is going to get cold. All right? That's all she was doing. I had no defense. I was absolutely defenseless against her. And I tell you, since then, I went back and I evaluated the women that I was with. And I paid attention to the women that I was with right from that point on. And the ones that have submitted me the most are the ones that were absolutely pleasant. Now, I'm talking from my experience. Do I get tired of saving the damsel in distress? Absolutely not, okay? Because that damsel can be anybody, right? I don't ever get tired of saving my children. I don't ever get tired of speaking up for the men that need me to speak up for them. I don't ever get tired of putting myself between the danger and the woman that I'm with. I don't ever get tired of that because it's just who I am as a man.
We're talking about women. When we say
exactly talking about dogs, cats,
you're talking about lions, tigers, bears, oh my, women.
Well,
women. Your point is well taken, and knowing you, I know that what you're saying is true. But we're talking about men dealing with women. The energy that it takes to constantly put yourself in a position where you're saving a woman from herself. You're not doing a grown person any favor saving them from themselves. A man or woman has to face themselves in order to walk through the fucking fire. If you're constantly saving a woman from walking through the fire, from learning how to be a woman, which you can't teach her. If you're constantly trying to save her ass, constantly find yourself in a position as a man where this is the type of woman you're attracting, then that says something about you. You have a savior complex.
So when I said damsel in distress, I'm talking more so on a relationship basis that something goes wrong in your relationship or with you and your girls, and she always comes to you to fix it. It doesn't matter what it is. A woman comes to you, everything that happens, you have to fix it. You know what I mean? She went to the hair salon. The girl messed up her hair. She didn't want to speak up because she was scared. Baby, can you come down here? You got to go fix that. Something happened at the bank she didn't understand, and the teller messed up on the money. You got to fix that.
Right.
You know
Now,
what I
if
mean?
it's woman to woman, then yeah, I understand that. If it's woman to woman.
This is the thing. The constraints of the conversation is this: a woman and a man in a relationship, and a woman, like Lavondra said, always comes back to the man because she needs help all the time. Those are the only two variables that we are talking about right here and now.
I know what you're talking about, exactly what you're talking about. And that's what I just said. If it's woman to woman, then yeah, I stay out of that. But there's no way that I would let a man confront my woman. Listen, when I hear damsel in distress,
Okay, I get what he's
okay,
saying now. I get what he's saying now.
But that's
He got
still
he
not
got to
what we're
break that
talking
down
about.
for me because I feel like he's still missing the point. So
You
you got to
still,
break
that's
that
He's
still
down.
not
saying
what we're
if
talking
the
about.
situation were to be between a woman and a woman, then he would stay out of it. If the
Right.
situation were to be between a man and a woman, he would jump in front of it.
Right.
He talking about picking and choosing. We saying if that's your normal get up, you always need help, whether it's a man and a woman or a woman and a woman. You always coming to me. That's a problem. That's what we are talking
Right.
about. You talking about right and wrong, but would you want to put up with a woman that
With
always
that.
has problems? I'm an adult. I need to be with another adult.
I definitely would like to deal with a man who appreciates my assertiveness. He can watch from the stands, but let me handle a problem. And if you start to see that I'm struggling, be my backbone to back me up, but let me handle it because that's
That's a
how I'm
turn
gonna learn.
on. Thanks.
Help me sometimes, but not 100% 24/7. But being the woman that I know that I am, I'm going to figure that shit out anyway. Also, the woman that knows that, you know what, I'm going to let my man handle it this time because that's what some men need.
So the last thing I want to touch on is the concept of like dating up or dating down. You look at ASAP Rocky and Rihanna. Rocky is dating up because he got him a billionaire. He can wear as many skirts as he wants, which I don't agree with. But to me, that's cap because you still have to be able to look yourself in the mirror. You can't get lost in the person that you're dating. You can't be codependent. But the concept of dating up or down, I think that is underneath what Ebony was talking about. Are you dating up because someone makes more money than you? And if that's the case, then if you make a lot of money, but your personality is average, what does that mean? What does that mean?
To start off, I feel like when it comes to average or mediocre, those type of people will never be in the same rooms anyway to meet to have that problem. A lot of people that I like see on my Twitter and Instagram, like typical like shade room type stuff, those people aren't in rooms with me at all. So I wouldn't feel any type of way about dating down because the people that are in my rooms that I am put in front of and that are put in front of me, we're either on a same playing level or they're moving up. It has to be a constant moving. So I would date down, I guess, if the person had the tenacity or shows the potential of moving higher than where they are. And some people they like where they're at, and I'm gonna leave you right there where you at.
Brittany Burner, you dating up, you dating down, diagonally.
So it's the exact same thing on the contingency that I've said this before too. Ambition. You got to have ambition. You cannot lack ambition. You cannot stay stagnant. You have to be constantly moving. It doesn't mean you have to be exactly where I am, but you definitely have to aspire for more because that's what I'm doing. Like, it don't matter what age I am. It's never going to stop. It's always going to continue. The type of equal yoking that I require. There's other things, but we're talking about that one right there. So.
For the men, I feel like as long as she look good, it don't really matter what school she went to. Like you get judged based on how your woman look. That's the things we get caught up in as men. All your people's like, damn, you got her because she looked good, but not realizing she got all these mental issues. Barely graduated high school, her family's in shambles. We get caught up in that as men.
I agree. We definitely get caught up in a woman's assets at first, and then we pay for it on the back end through like child support. I think here on this podcast, being upper echelon and upper age, having experience, the pruning process is harder now, right? You can't just come to the table with just a pretty face and a fat ass, right? Like you have to be able to flow through different rooms, right? Even if dating down is cool, but I don't want to say what do you bring to the table, but how can you help me build my empire, right? And vice versa. if I'm helping you 95% of the time, you are now my child. You're not my partner, right?
Wow.
So me dating down, if that's gonna cause me to move backwards than move up, right? Like you can't really help me level up. So you won't be able to get upgraded to a wife or a significant other, right? But dating down, it is a little complicated, right? I think like the woman here on this panel said, if it's all about the mindset. Like you can make $1 million a year, but if you have an average mentality, I definitely don't want to be a part of that. If you have an average mindset, it plants seeds for demise in the future, right? Like it's just up today. But if you have an average mentality, when it's down, you may not be able to recover, right? But if you have a high level mindset, whether it's down or it's up, you got a winning mentality. And that's the type of person I need on my team.
Look, I'm not even gonna agree or disagree with what he said. As for me, this whole dating up, dating down, I don't subscribe to that shit, not at all. Do I want somebody that I can look at? Absolutely, okay? But God understands me and my needs, and I respect the fact that he brings me the total package. Somebody that I can build with. She understands where I am as a man. She understands where I am as a person and everything that I lack, the things that I don't like to do, okay? I normally go for the woman that has in her the things that I need as a person, okay? Call it whatever the fuck you want. You can call it dependency, whatever it is. I don't give a fuck what you call it, okay? That's what I got to say. Now, y'all motherfuckers say some shit about that.
You know what? I like that.
Don't encourage him. Do not encourage him.
Has there ever been a time where you've dated up and then you felt intimidated?
Ooh.
Because I get that a lot, because I'm technically a date up for a lot of people. And men get intimidated and then ghost me. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
I would say after 25, no, because once you become the man that you claim that you are, you can deal with fucking queen of whoever. The queen is Zamunda, regardless. And she's still going to be her full queendom, but you the man. But, age does not determine maturity. So you can have a 40-year-old man still behaving like that. I would say I don't think you should feel any type of way about that. If a dude is that insecure that he can't use his words or he got to ghost you, then you better off.
I agree with everything you said, Mr. No Cap. I think I've dated up more times than not, and it was difficult and it was definitely intimidating when I didn't have a lot of knowledge of self and confidence in the direction where I was going. But once I was able to establish that, it became easier. I became more confident in who I was as a person. But it can present some problems, especially if that woman has an idea of the situation that they're dating, I guess, if you will, down, and they use that to steamroll me in a lot of conversations, steamroll me in a lot of different decisions as it relates to the relationship.
Throwing little subtle shots and
Yeah.
stunting on you unnecessarily. They can do it and not realize they're doing it. So there is some accountability on the woman's part as well. You really got to check yourself, check your behavior, even unconsciously. Am I doing these things?
Make them feel less.
Right.
So look, have I ever dated somebody that made more than me? Absolutely. Was I intimidated? Not a fucking bit. Not one fucking bit. I don't give a fuck if she make $1 and I make a dime. Hey, we got $1.10. How we gonna spend it? That's what it is, okay? And if you can't get with that, then fuck it. I don't need you. I don't give a fuck about your prestige. Not at all. I respect fucking values, because the values are what's gonna make me keep you if you don't have that money. Right? The whole fucking dating up shit is pretty fucking sad that we got to say some shit like this, because I think that there are some valuable people out there that get overlooked because they don't fit into a social economic status. The people that overlook them, they're going to be lonely as fuck for the rest of their fucking life.
Are you talking about Ebony? Are you saying Ebony's going to be alone? Goddamn, Willie. Look, Ebony, we wish you the best. This is no shade to Ebony, but I will say that in terms of like dating, entertainers are not good examples. Let's not look at these entertainers and these celebrities as examples of how we should operate our dating lives. Look for the people in your personal life. Look for successful examples in your personal life, people that you know that have maintained healthy and successful relationships. Talk to them, get with them, hang with them, see how they was able to do it. Stop looking at these entertainers as people that we should look to for pretty much anything, but especially when it comes
therapy. Go see the lady.
Ooh, therapy. Okay.
Go see the lady.
I'm not mad at that either.
I got your therapy. Better drive that bus over here.
Yeah. I want to thank LaVonza for coming here with great personality, the great energy. I want you to come in here and tell people where to find you and how we can stay in tune with what you got going on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you inviting me so much. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under Typical Black Queen. At Typical Black Queen, TYPICALBLAQUEEN. And I also have a website, typicalblackqueen.com.
We'll definitely be checking that out. What Black Men Like? Best podcast in the fucking game. We did it again. We out of here, y'all.